I finally recently figured out how to dress properly. And I was challenged in that as a child because all my role models for beauty were female impersonators and prostitutes. And I guess my mom a little bit, and that was the beehive era. So I rejected that as quick as I could get out of that. But um, yeah, I just really didn't know how to dress. So my first kind of outfit was like the hippie uniform in my age that was low cut jeans, bell bottoms, and a halter top, like the most boob showing as possible. So I did that for a while. Then I went through the Orthodox phase where it was don't let my sexy elbows or knees stick out, you guys. People might have an errant thought about that. But also being from Minnesota, like I'm really, really intent about dressing for the weather because Minnesota has a kind of weather where the snot can freeze on your nose as it's coming out. And your tears, which are trying their best to keep your eyeballs from freezing over, they just freeze on your eyelashes. And people walk around in parkas, big green parkas with fur hood faces on there, pretty much looking like a walking igloo that's wearing a parka. And this is mostly so as not to freeze to death in the morning snow. And I will tell you that you are much more likely to freeze to death in stilettos than in a parka and very ugly boots. What does it matter what you're wearing underneath? So I have this also practical thing. You got to dress for where you're going to be. I think there was a period where I was a little depressed because one of my employers, my first employer that tried to help me with fashion, they sent me over a color consultant. And the color consultant said, there's really not a lot of variety of colors in your wardrobe. And I said, well, there's a lot of black. She said, uh-huh. And I said, gray's a color. And eventually, under her tutelage, I reached out to steel blue. I was still a little depressed, probably. That was during a period of my life where I call most of my marriage and then some. So coming back into line with color, that happened with my next employer who invested in my fashion development, and they took me shopping. And I can still see her now running up to me with gold tops and purple tops. And, so I started to figure it out, but I still really get a little triggered by, I couldn't do eye makeup. I can't do that kind of stuff because it reminds me of my errant childhood. Really tough stuff. So I took a rabbi job in a farming area, but right now all that I have are, basically T-shirts from every nonprofit that I ever volunteered for, and long rayon skirts with elastic bands, and that's a few other items here and there. I moved up here to be the rabbi up here, and it was still the expectation that you show up somewhat decent for services and stuff like that. So I continue to get feedback about fashion until the very last performance review of my career, where I finally got acceptable, which was a real triumph. And I've just continued to soar after that point. And I, in fact, recently I got 3 compliments. I have gotten 3 compliments. Someone said to me in the co-op, they said to me, I love your mud boots. Where did you get them? And that's a little more dressing for the weather thing because I just come from the chicken coop. But still, I was that lady's fashion icon. Another woman that I know from my congregation said, you look comfortable but professional. Psh, I would say that's acceptable plus. Yeah? And recently, this is the best. I'm bragging about this one. I was out in LA with my kids, and they have a gay friend, Adam. And Adam said to me, you are retroactively monochromatic. And to be honest with you, I took it as a gigantic compliment, of course, but because that's how he meant it. But that was actually my baseline. I always thought that when you get dressed, that should be your baseline. You should have the color scheme should be an acceptable match. They should be clean, and there should be no visible holes. So I was like really acing every category, but I guess it's kind of in right now. I had the idea of tree going on. I had green and green, different kind of greens going on, and he said that was very hip of me. I just this is not related to clothes, but it's like I found a new body part to be ashamed about. It used to be my polkies. Do you know what polkies are? Oh, polkies. That's what you're so big. It's like yelling at my polkies. But then I had this noticing that, like, when you're with a little baby, there's the polkies, you're like squishing up their little thighs, their little baby thighs. So I kind of, I said, I'm going to love my thighs. I'll love my thighs. But no, I look in a mirror and there's like, who's this? Whose additional arm is this, And I'm kind of the age right now that if I'm on a Zoom call or something, I have to decide where to place the camera because it's a choice between my receding hairline or my vagina neck kind of sticking out. And you have to go, I'm kind of off camera some of the time, and it works a little better. But so I do have some fashion tips for older ladies, which I'll share because I have gotten better at this. Okay, so what helps on the Zoom calls is a beret and a beautiful ascot, a scarf. And you're good, center, right? I recommend elastic. And for me, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. I try to pick shirts and tops that match the color of my dandruff.